All right. Welcome to Voices Unchained, conversations with the formerly incarcerated. Love that word formerly.
Right.
In the past,
Yeah, we're not there anymore.
not there anymore. Did their crime, did their time, paid their debt to society.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah. Some people don't get that, you know, that we've paid our debt to society and
That's
we're
right.
trying to move past that.
That's right.
Some of those people tend to keep us in that space, but, you know, it's all about that support that we get when you come out.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's part of the barrier, isn't it? When you come back in, is like just people's ideas and judgments and opinions about you and what happened and what it means and just how everybody holds on to things in a certain way, and how that can become a real issue. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, sure can. People are already afraid, when they're coming out, what they're gonna face, when they get home. A lot of people don't have like necessarily like family, a mother or a father that they're coming home to, or anything like that. So things are unsure, and
yeah,
when a person's unsure, they're scared, so anything can happen.
that's right. When a person's
Uh,
unsure, they're scared.
yeah,
Yeah, anything can happen. That's right.
yeah.
And so, before we dive into our conversation, welcome everybody. I just wanted to give a warm shout out to the Rogue Valley Growers Market here in Medford, Oregon, at Hawthorne Park. This is an awesome market. Local vendors, local produce. Come on down here and keep the money flowing in the local economy. You can go into a big store and nobody knows who you are. Nobody, people will forget your name. But you come down here and you get human to human contact. You'll be able to get to meet the person who grows your own food, and we actually remember your name and we care about you and we miss you when you're not here. So come on down and experience this market for yourselves. And we're so grateful that the Rogue Valley Growers Market gave us this platform to explore conversations here at the market, just to create community engagement around this issue. So this is my guest, Desmond Sachs.
Morning.
Morning. We're on conversation 3 or 4 now, aren't we?
I think it's four.
Four.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, so last week we spoke a little bit about um, just reentry, and I don't know if you're speaking to a community member or somebody who doesn't know much about what it's like at that point when you hear that you're getting out, right, and that you have to get ready to sort of transition from prison into the into community. What's the experience of that like?
Well, I know for me it was really nerve wracking. You know, about a month to the gate. You start thinking about, okay, is this gonna work this time? I have a plan in my head, I have a plan in my heart. Something's got to go wrong. You kind of catastrophize a little bit,
So you
and
kind of think about worst case
your
scenarios.
worst case scenarios. What my PO gonna be like? Is it gonna just violate me because I show up 5 minutes late, or
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty nerve wracking.
it's pretty nerve wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah.
And are you prior to the announcement of your release date? Are you prepped at all, or are you given any support in there to get ready?
Well, yeah, I was in the AIP program, so they encourage you to start reaching out and stuff like right off the bat. It's a 6 month program, so you have plenty of time to get ready, and I took full advantage of that.
Nice.
I knew Road Retreat had a safe spot, for me, so I reached out, got the application, filled it out, and I had to call once a week until I was released to be able to secure a spot.
You have to call from prison to Rogue Retreat once a
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
The release counselor usually you'll sign up with her, and she'll put you on the call out for you to come down.
So that's kind of the first step, is to kind of secure some sort of housing for yourself, right?
Yeah,
Because without that, what else are you going to do, right?
it's the biggest struggle because you don't want to get dropped off on Greyhound and have no place to go. You like right out there on the street because the first thing somebody's going to offer you is a drink or drugs.
Right. Yeah.
They'll notice the sweatpants and the plastic bag or box in my case,
Yeah.
and the penitentiary shoes, and they know you probably got gate money. They're gonna, I don't know, pounce. So
They're gonna pounce. You're like a target, right?
yeah,
Wow.
you
So that's
know.
right off the bat when you hit the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, my counselor, Miss Kellogg, she warned me about backpack chicks.
Okay.
Those girls that they see a dude just coming out of prison, and they just, they're figuring they're gonna get a good time, and
Yeah.
it usually ends bad. So
Usually ends bad.
yeah, you never know what you're gonna get with one of those kind of girls.
Right. Wow. Okay. And,
So
and in terms of money, like, what are you giving any money in there to sort of help your transition, or is it something?
we had in the AIP program, they pay you
Sure, that's on.
50 something dollars a month. So if you budget it right, you can save, a little bit. But they don't. If you don't save that you're going to get out with zero.
You're gonna get out with zero. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and that's an issue, isn't it, with a lot of folks, is actually being able to save money, because in my experience is once you get money, if you've never had it, you're going to just spend it right away. And I guess in there, you got commissary coming in, and
Right.
right.
You want to eat a little bit better, getting stuff, for late night snacks or something like that. And some people just don't like going down to that chow hall and eating that stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
So they'll buy that, and shoes is a big thing.
Shoes.
Those cruisers that they give you free
Yeah.
really suck.
Right.
That's like the first thing you want to buy, but they're like, if you're making 50 something bucks a month, or even $23 a month and stuff, you got to save a few months just to do that. So you got to have your priorities in order, what you're willing to suffer for.
Yeah. Yeah. So so securing housing is like a huge piece. And so in
It
your
is.
case, you were able to reach out to Rogue Retreat, and I give a big shout out to Rogue Retreat, by the way. Oh
Right.
my God, what an amazing service they provide.
Yeah.
So you were able to reach out to those and secure housing before you got out, but
Yeah.
was there ever a time when that wasn't the case, like when you didn't have that support,
Um.
and you ended up in a bad situation, or did you know anybody?
Uh. Not necessarily coming out of prison, but the revolving door of the county jail is a major issue and stuff, because some people may have a place to live and stuff like that, and then they get picked up, and they get out and they've lost it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So um, I'd say, but prison was a better situation for me. So I've never had that experience. When I came out, I knew where I was going,
Yeah.
and at worst case scenario, they always send people out to the work center.
Worst case scenario, they always send people out to the work
Yeah,
center. Okay.
but you don't really want to go from prison to another jail.
Yeah.
That's like,
You're ready to be done at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you go back to a bunk, a building, a secure building, and you're around just everybody that you were just locked up with.
Right.
So
It's not much different, right?
there's no change.
Yeah.
It could be pretty depressing, but I was blessed with the people down there at Rogue Retreat. I believe the girl that I was calling every week was Sarah, Ragsdale. But I didn't realize that I was talking to her until after I got out and made it over to the campground. She's like, "You've been talking to me for months now." I'm like, "Oh wow."
Wow. Yeah.
And she's an old friend, so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was nice.
So you never actually met her face to face. So you had the phone interaction, but
I had
yeah.
met her. I'd known her for a long time, but I didn't know that's who I was talking to.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it
Yeah.
was kind of cool. She was really nice. So my experience with Rogue Retreat was really, uh, I felt safe.
You felt safe. Yeah.
I knew I was going to be able to come home to something.
Yeah.
I put in the effort, and they matched that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And so just the importance of having housing, right? I mean, just can you tell me a little bit about like what that does for you in terms of next steps, and if you haven't, and if you don't have it, like what happens?
well, if you have housing, you feel secure. You feel safe. You're somewhere where you can lay your head. You don't have to worry about your stuff being stolen, or being ran off by cops or anything like that. And I believe you're able to focus a little bit.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, if you're released and you're just land on a bike trail, oh
Yeah.
my God, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I have a lot of compassion for the people on the bike path because I mean I was there once,
You were there
you
once. Yeah.
know, and I know you get into a mindset of um, you're used to this. This is what it is. Where and some people don't want more. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm able to do what I want to out here, and nobody's telling me what to do. It's my own rules or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, my good friend here, I used to run into her a lot down there, and she's she's always had like cats somewhere. She always had like her little area, and she didn't know you were not coming anywhere near.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
stuff. And I mean, I wouldn't test her, but we became friends and stuff. She finally realized that I wasn't a threat and stuff, and invited me into her space, which I was appreciative. You know,
Yeah.
it was my first time out there being homeless, and I just really didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some good people out there that will take you up underneath their wing and um, help you with that transition,
Yeah. Yeah.
which eventually gets you stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, people are just trying to live.
People are just trying to
So,
survive, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
housing is the key point to a success coming out
Yeah.
of prison.
And so, just if you were to speak to the community about that, like, what would you say to anybody who sort of kind of holds any judgments around folks coming out, or and maybe sees people on the bike path or homeless and in this situation? Like, what would you say to them?
Well, people seem to forget that everybody down there, they have a mother. That's somebody's mother. There's somebody's sister. That's somebody's auntie. That's somebody's brother. That's somebody's son. Somebody's father. And people seem to give up on them. And a lot of times, like we were talking the other day, the key thing is love.
That's right.
If
That's
you
right.
continue to love people and not be quick to pass judgment, maybe that one time you say hello and not turn and run the other way because they're approaching, maybe wanting a cigarette or something. That might be that 1 second, that one little thing that they needed to say, oh, well, maybe there is somebody that cares. Maybe I can start caring about myself.
Right.
you know
Right.
Maybe I need to get off this bike path.
Right. Right.
So I would encourage just to just like at Golden Rule, we have open arms. We
Yeah.
love everybody, and um, that's what brought me out of myself and had the courage to move forward every day.
Was just receiving that love from other people.
Yeah,
Yeah. Beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
the right kind of people, and that
Yeah.
right kind of love. People get sex and love um, mixed up.
Yeah. Completely. Right.
Just because you have sex with somebody doesn't mean that person loves you or anything like that. Sex is just sex.
Right.
Somebody that reach out and hand me a meal or a drink or just want a hug or just stand there and talk to me for a minute and stuff. That is what a lot of people need.
That's what a lot of people need.
Just
Yeah.
a little bit of time.
Beautiful. So what a strong message to the community, just to show
Yeah.
up and show love, show some love to folks that are struggling, and like you said, that could be that person has a sister, that person has a mother, that person has a family,
Yeah.
that person is a human being,
Right.
right? And yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful, man.
And you don't know how that person got out there. I've met people that were doctors and lawyers and own their houses, and then something traumatic happened and they just lost it all.
Yeah.
And when you lose it all, people tend to write you off.
Right. Yeah.
And it sucks. Instead of reaching down that hand to lift my brother or sister up, they put down that foot and kick them back farther down. It's like, oh, that person's no good. I knew that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps me moving forward and going strong every day, because I know there's still people out there that wonder if I'm going to fall off and would be happy to say, see, I told you so. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Right.
You know.
Kind of waiting for that shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold your breath, homie, because I'm here for the long run.
Nice,
You
man.
know.
That's lovely. Yeah. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
So then there's that housing piece, and then sort of then is the next piece, which is finding work, finding a way to support yourself, and tell me a little bit about that and what kind of struggles you see, and how I guess how the community could support, and how the community could just be aware of of that issue, you know?
Well, I'm a peer support specialist, so my key job is to listen and to figure out what barriers people have. A lot of people like on the bike path, they're coming out of prison, may not have their ID,
They
social
might not have their
security
ID,
card.
right? Social security card.
So if you have a conversation with somebody, you will figure out what the barriers are that's keeping them from getting a job. And there's places like Pathfinders or um, uh, Rogue Retreat
Road retreat.
or Golden Rule,
Freedom Farm.
Freedom Farms
Yeah.
that will gladly take somebody down to the DMV and pay for that.
Yeah.
Work Source,
Work source, right? Yeah.
all the community partners and stuff. I mean, it's pretty. If you want it and stuff, it's out there for you to get. But ID is the main barrier for
ID.
somebody.
Yeah.
I had a client not too long ago that he had his ID and stuff, but he needed clothes.
He had his ID, but he needed clothes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, I went into my closet and I worked with him a little bit and got him some proper clothes to go in and he went off and got a job and he's been going strong ever since.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that little bit is just gave him the second wind.
Give him a second win. Right?
Yeah, and he seems to be thriving.
Nice.
Yeah. So when he calls me and says, like his bike got stolen, I was able to reach out to some community partners and get him a bike, a nice one.
Right.
So yeah,
there's a lot of community support out there.
There's a lot of community support out here.
Yeah.
Just to get them to the point where they can actually get a job. I mean, because I feel like if you look good, you'll do good, you'll perform good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clean haircut, clean clothes,
Yeah.
decent shoes, and a bus pass or a bike, somebody can get around. I mean, that's the foundation. That's like the wood and the proper nails and stuff before you pour that concrete. Set that foundation.
The basics. Yeah.
The basics.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. So then getting work, and so what would you say to sort of employers? Because I think a lot of job opportunities are difficult because you look at an application and somebody's got a criminal record, they've been homeless or whatever it is, like they're going to end up on the bottom of the list. And what I'm hearing from a lot of people is if you have a chance to go in and actually physically meet the person and actually have a conversation with them and talk to the human in front of you, you're way more likely to either get a job or to be comfortable with that person as an employee. So
right, you have to sell yourself, but my dad always said if you hire a friend to do a job, that friend will most likely try to get over on you. But if you hire your enemy, that enemy is going to work twice as hard to prove himself. You're going to end up being your best employee.
Yeah.
So I say, if you're frowning upon people because they're felons or just came out of jail or anything like that, man, you were probably missing out on the best worker you could ever freaking have because you gave this person an opportunity to take care of themselves.
That's right.
And that means a lot to people.
Right.
It's showing that you care, that you trust them. It shows that they are important and they deserve to be able to work too.
Right.
It's the little things.
Little small things, yeah. I think another issue that I'm aware of or that I notice is like just often people don't want neighbors who've been incarcerated or who've been homeless. They want people further. They're comfortable with them if they're down at Rogue Retreat or if they're further away from their backyard. And there's often this like fear in folks in the community of that, of having somebody living next door. And I was talking to somebody at Rogue Retreat recently, and they have the huge Kelly shelter. I don't know how many beds are in there, but we were talking about anything happening in the neighborhood, and they were like, no, nothing. Everything has been safe in the last, I mean, there's been incidents here and there, but in general, it's, so anything you could sort of say to neighbors?
9 times out of 10, when you get people like that, they're really not trying to be seen. They're not really trying to be heard. So they're not going to be in your backyard.
Yeah.
You're going to get a few of those kind of people around, but they're going to be the most polite, respectful people, and you're barely going to see them anyway. So
yeah,
I wouldn't stress about it. About having somebody that just got out of prison, living next door to me. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they're getting their life back. You
They're
know,
trying. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
give them a chance.
Give them a chance. I guess
Yeah,
that's a good point. Give them a chance, right?
yeah,
And
yeah. My sis down there, Angela at All City, she gives those second chances. You know,
yeah,
to people, and I know quite a few of the people that she's worked with have thrived. You
tried.
know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
isn't it goes back to that whole housing thing. If you got your own freaking space, man, you know,
Yeah.
it brings out a sense of pride, and you want to keep that up. So guess what you're doing?
That's right.
You're out freaking working a job,
Yeah.
you know, doing the right things, you
Yeah.
know.
I,
Keep
I
that.
I like coming back around to this theme though of like caring about yourself enough to do that, and so I think that was an important thing you mentioned about just showing somebody love, and then at a certain point, that person is going to start loving themselves
Right.
and wanting to treat themselves a little better than they have been treating themselves. And
Yeah.
I think as we're speaking, and it's important that people realize that there's a lack of self care going on with a lot of folks, and so just be able to switch that around, you
Right.
know. So I think that's so important.
It is, you
Yeah.
know. My boss, Miss Abigail Lewis, she makes days for us to just take care of doctor's appointments, you know, stuff like that, you
Yeah.
know, at work because she believes in having a healthy environment. You know, if her employees are cared for, loved, and feel respected, you know, she's all about that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's
and
so important, isn't it?
it's got me to that next level where I know I'm okay. I communicate with her to a point where she knows my fears and stuff like that, and she's just like,
Yeah.
"We're not gonna worry about that. You
Right.
need to, you know, worry about something else. What else is next? What's next is,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Let's not fixate on that, right?
right?
Yeah.
You know." And I get this text from her every morning. I usually hit her up and say, "Good morning, Abby. I love you," and she'll send back something like, you know, "Good morning, sunshine," or you know, something of the sort, and it does something to me every day. It's like start my day off right,
That's awesome.
you know.
Yeah. That's so
So
good.
I've never even known a boss to care about their employees like that,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Most bosses want to just want to extract as much work from you
Right.
as possible, in an efficient way.
Yeah,
You know,
you know,
it's
and
all
that
about the
lady,
bottom line
she
sometimes.
cares so much
Yeah.
that, you know, I mean, she she gives me exactly what I need, and if I'm struggling with something, it breaks that lady's heart,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So it not only makes me more loyal to her, I respect her heart, and if I make a mistake, you know, the next day I wake up and we move on from it,
Yeah.
and I do better,
You do better.
you know.
Yeah. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is a really good little clip here that we've just talked about. But I want to kind of, folks, the entertaining side of criminal behavior often gets clicks out on the internet. So I want to kind of just if you have an experience to share inside of like, I don't know, you told me about sizing up to your celly once, and what? Just give me something to. We're not trying to entertain folks with this podcast at all, but sometimes it's just people want to hear about the experience of. For some reason, it is an entertaining topic, and so what was that like for you? Like like give me a moment in there where it was just like,
uh, well, you know, when you first get to prison, you don't know people. I mean, yeah, I knew some people from my county and stuff, but um, you have to find your niche and decide how you want to do your time.
yeah,
So for me, I was all right because you know I figured I came here by myself. I'll leave by myself, and you know, as long as you're respectful to people and mind your own business, you'll be just fine.
yeah,
But you know, there are those predators in there that are sizing you up when you come through the door, see if they could take advantage of you, get you on the card table or something like that,
yeah,
bring you a bunch of food and say this is free, and then come back a week later and say, oh, you owe me for that type
yeah, yeah,
stuff. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
yeah, we don't play that kind of stuff, you know. But
yeah.
I grew up. I had uncles that were in and out of California prisons all the time,
Oh, you did? Okay.
and so they were telling me, you know, somebody comes up and offer you something free, a Snickers bar or a hamburger or something, you tell them, go jump off something. I'm good,
Yeah,
because they want something from you.
they want something
So
from you, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
you
so
know,
you kind of have to be, yeah. There's a certain street smart in there that you need to have
you
to
have to keep
survive it.
yourself safe.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so it depends on what your personality is and
yeah,
what you're into. Because some people go in there to be that wolf.
yeah,
You know, I wasn't a wolf and I wasn't a sheep either.
yeah,
I was just me,
yeah.
minding my own damn business.
So some people go in there. I mean, violence can happen in there, right? And it can
Yeah,
be a way for folks to express power and intimidation.
violence, drugs, are really prevalent in prison. I mean, I could be sitting on a bunk right here, and there's four of them, and 9 times out of 10, there's at least three dudes getting high next to me.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's really tough trying to stay out the way and just be your own person in there.
right. And what's it like if you're not getting high and you have a cellie who is, what was that situation like?
Um, well, for me, he would be moving.
He would be moving.
Yeah, yeah, he would be moving cells. Uh, and it wouldn't be me going to the officer; it would be him. Going
Yeah,
to the officer say, I can't live here. I don't give a crap what he tells him as long as he's not trying to get me in trouble. But I'm trying to. I have to be able to close my eyes at night, and if I don't trust myself like that, it's not going down.
it's not going down. Yeah,
No.
yeah. That's one thing you need more than anything is a safe night's sleep, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get a lot of people that are friends normally, and they'll get into the cell together and realize that they do not like each other.
yeah.
It's
Well, it's a very close space, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
like you gotta. How big is a cell typically?
Man, some of the cells are about as big as I am.
Yeah, those shoe boxes.
OSP, my feet would be touching the bars in front of me, my head would be on the back wall. I can reach over the toilet and touch the farther wall.
Wow,
So
with two
yeah,
people in there.
with two people in there.
Yeah, wow.
So, but there's some big enough cells out there where there's you can move around a little bit.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
could it be something where you start off friends, but like after some time of being in a very close, I mean,
right.
anybody,
Well, you get to
you're in a
know
close,
somebody,
yeah,
really well, who's smelling all the farts
and
and freaking the snores and all the different
yeah,
little,
all the body stuff.
yeah, all the little different quirks. And some people just don't know how to shut up. It's
Yeah,
just, yeah,
so people.
it's a working process. So, yeah.
What did you find that was the most helpful for you in those situations? Um, and like in general, like communication skills, or were they at all?
Well, you have to let somebody know right off the bat, where you stand. For me, it was, I'm clean and sober. I'm a believer. So, um, you know, we may not have anything to talk about. you know
Yeah,
um, if you're out there just playing the field and womanizing, cuss your mom out on the phone and getting high, that's not somebody that's gonna really want to be around me.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah. Because
so
you're in a completely opposite space at that
right,
point.
I'm
Yeah,
not a bully, but I won't tolerate any nonsense around me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And was that something that you needed to sort of show when you got in there? Because
uh
if you're new, if you're coming in fresh off the street, people don't know you.
well, this is Oregon. You're not gonna have to come in the door and fight right off the bat.
Yeah,
I didn't have any issues like that. um, Come in, and it all depends on what your demeanor is and what you're doing. If you come in, you're wilding out and stuff like that, thinking that you're tough and acting like you're tough, somebody's gonna test you.
somebody's gonna test you.
If
Yeah,
you come in there, your mouth shut, just mind your own damn business, then people are gonna tend to leave you alone.
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, awesome.
yeah.
Thank you, Des. That was some good stuff in there. I think I like to focus on this reentry piece, and um, especially here at the markets. And anyway, I wanted to also shout out to Freedom Farms. This is our farm stand here, and we take the formerly incarcerated out to a rural setting and teach them how to grow food and put their hands in the soil and grow fresh organic produce to sell here at the markets. And so yeah, just want to give a shout out to that. You can see us on www.freedom-farms.org, and this particular podcast is called Voices Unchained. So we're posting clips on YouTube, and trying to get the social media piece of it going. So if you're interested, just hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and follow us on there. So anyway, thank you
All
so
right.
much for listening. Appreciate your support.
Have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day. Word. Thanks, man. That was good.